I'm Hilda, part of the Women's Voice Network, and we're filming this segment called There Is a Life After This, and we're coming out to the community and talking to people that are doing some great things so that they can empower and inspire others. Today I'm with Fran, and Fran has a program called Joseph's Dream House, and I just wanted to invite Fran to share her wonderful story with us and tell us how did she get here and what helped her start this program. Hi, Fran.
Hi. My I came into wanting to feed the community. I've always had a heart of, since I was a child, of being a humanitarian. And, life has a funny way of forcing you into situations. And about 10 years ago, I suffered a brain hemorrhage. And through that brain hemorrhage, I was still working, but my disability didn't kick in. And so I found myself going to have to seek help in trying to get food stamps for my son at that time, who was 2.5, and my husband and myself. And the treatment I received, this was in New York, in Queens, New York, was so horrendous. They made me feel like the bottom of the barrel. And I said to myself, not realizing I was speaking into my future, and I said, Lord, if you ever give me a chance to do something for people, I'm going to do different. Not realizing that 10 years later, I would end up having this huge feeding ministry. And it didn't start out as huge, of course. It grew over time. And now I'm feeding close to 5,000 people across all of South Broward. And so for me, it was so important to give back. So my profession before that was being an executive human resource professional, working in corporate America, all for the financial and Morgan Stanley, Lehman Brothers, all these people making a very lucrative salary at a very young age. I decided to go to culinary school. I've always had the art for making beautiful cakes like Cake Boss and cooking. And my husband really kind of encouraged me. He's like, Fran, you're only going to be recognized if you actually go and get your title and go get trained. And after doing that, for, going to culinary school, graduating at the top of my class, summa cum laude, I started my own catering company. And I've also started teaching at a homeschool program called Beck, where my son also attends. And I started teaching nutrition and baking and nutrition and cooking there. And I've been there now 5 years. And here's the thing. A lot of people think that this is about homeless people. It's not. It's the working poor. That's who I'm feeding. I'm feeding people who are working several jobs.
I see that you came from Wall Street, you did a lot, and you've been feeding, like you said, 5,000 families a month. Yeah. But how did you start?
I started because I started partnering up with Feeding South Florida. So that's where, I started buying a lot of my foods. The doors started opening for the Fresh Market at that point. And then it started opening for Whole Food, and it started opening for Outback, and being associated with Harvest as well, and as well as Feeding South Florida. So that's how, and the connections, of course, through my alumni of culinary school, and that's how it started. My funds go to taking care of the ministry when I teach. And, we are in desperate need of a place, a location, so people can look us up at www.jdhcdc.org.